Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Good Times with Good News. Amen. This is another day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Been riding Charlotte. Right much here lately. That's my 2021 F3 Limited. And I figure I'll give Flirt a little love so she don't get jealous. So we're going to take a little ride today on Flirt, get a little wind therapy on our way to work. Well, y'all would just ride along with us. God bless you. And we're off. All right. Get out here. Oh yeah, that throttle feels real good. She still get it. She still get it. Okay. Yeah. Thought I would take her to work. Get a pickup truck a break. Riding my 2015 Kawasaki Voyager 1700. Wonderful bike. I love this bike, man. Big story behind this bike. I was living in Maryland, and it had been about 14 years since I owned a motorcycle. So back in 2021, I was blessed to acquire this Essen, which is my 2006 Vulcan 900 Classic. The bike had literally no miles on it. I think the bike had less than 4,000 miles on it. And the guy had posted it for sale. He had purchased it for the same reason that I was looking to purchase. He too had been a while without riding, and he bought the bike to get reacclimated back into riding, but then he realized that his back just wouldn't let him do it. So he posted the bike for sale, and I went down to Richmond and took a look at it, test rode it, was able to pick that up, and took it back to Maryland, rode it. Well, first I rode it from Richmond to my job in Lynchburg, and then later I rode it from Lynchburg to Baltimore, and I realized that, okay, it runs good, it rides good, but it's not the best at highway speeds. Anyway, I gotta stop and get some gas down here. I'll get back with y'all in a few and we'll talk about it some more. Okay, we're back on the road again. Going through the mighty metropolis of Victoria, Virginia. Yeah. Anyhow, back to that Kawasaki Classic, the 900 Classic. It just wasn't the best at highway speeds. It sounded like it was always just, I mean, it would do it. It would run it, but it just felt like it was struggling to maintain the 75, 80 mile an hour interstate speeds. So I switched the front pulley out on that, and it really helped a whole lot. as far as how the bike was a lot more comfortable at those speeds. But anyway, while I was up there, I met up with a few guys. Shout out to my boy Gary and Tony and them. Met up with a few guys up there, and they were all riding Victory Visions, Indian Chieftains, Harley Davidson. They riding the street glides and tri glides and road glides, and every now and then they wanted to hit the interstate. And I was riding with them anywhere that they went. Miss Essie and I went, but I felt like I wanted something a little more suited for long rides. And after riding Miss Essie from Virginia to Maryland and back, I think 3 times, I just realized I needed something a little more comfortable, something a little more equipped for interstate travel. So got to shopping, and I had been looking at the Voyagers for a while. Just something about them I just liked. I liked the price point. I liked, the reviews that I had read on them. I liked the styling of the bike. So finally ran across one up on the other side of Charlottesville, Virginia, and went and looked at it. And sure enough, the guy had it. It had been sitting in his garage for a while. And so we purchased her. And I rode her back from just north of Charlottesville, Virginia, down to Lynchburg, Virginia. And she got about 13 miles per gallon. It was crazy. I mean, I thought that it was just because, I was running on old gas and I wanted to burn that gas out that had been sitting in there. But then I found out that the bike had never been tuned. So I sent the ECU off to Ivan and got it flashed, and it changed the entire bike. Apparently, whoever had the bike before the guy that I purchased it from had put Vance & Hines 2-into-1 exhaust on it. They had put the K&N air filter, the high flow air filter in it, but they had not tuned the bike. So it was running, but it was just running. I mean, it was horrible, man. It had no real pickup. It was running rough. It was just terrible. So sent the ECU off, got that flash, got it back in like 2 days, and the bike just was a totally different bike. Now, when I got Flirt, this is the biggest bike that I've ever ridden in my entire riding career, and I've been riding motorcycles since I was like 8 years old. I think my first thing that I rode, a friend of mine had a little Honda 50 dirt bike, and I ran that through a briar patch when I was 8. Needless to say, I never went through another briar patch, but this is the biggest bike that I've ever ridden. So it was a big learning curve for me with the weight. It was also the first bike that I had ever ridden that had ABS and traction control. I had to get used to this thing stops. When you hit the brakes, it stops. You got to be ready for it. So that was another learning curve for me. As a matter of fact, let's talk about how she got her name Flirt. When I went and looked at her, as motorheads, we know the vehicle. It's like the vehicle just, that's the one you want. So when I went and looked at her, I mean, she just looked perfect for me. And it was like she spoke to me and said, buy me. I'm going to treat you good. I'm going to treat you right. Well, about a month into having her, she dumped me on my butt. So when I got up and picked up that 900-pound motorcycle and got back on and started riding, it came to me, you flirted with me and made me think you were going to be nice to me, and you really won't. You just dumped me on my butt. And the thing was, once again, like I said, I had to get used to those brakes. I mean, I went to stop. I stopped at a stop sign. I went to put my foot down, and I don't know whether I put my foot down a second too late or what, but the next thing I know, I'm trying to hold this bike up. Finally, I just said, you know what, I can't, and I just rolled off and just let her lay down. But that's how she ended up with the name Flirt, because she flirted with me, and then she put me on my backside. Anyway, during this time, I'm still living in Maryland, but I work out of Lynchburg, Virginia. So I said, well, now I have a bike in Maryland that I can ride. Eventually, I'm going to swap and bring Miss Essie down to Lynchburg and then take Flirt back to Maryland. And now when I ride with the guys, I'm not worried about being comfortable. I'm not worried about where they go. I'm not worried about keeping up. I'm not worried about not having cruise control on the highway. None of those things. Well, in the meantime, before I could make that transition, the Lord kept dealing with me about, I need you to go back to Virginia. Well, I had no intentions on coming back to Virginia, but I mean, you know, our plans and God's plan don't always line up. I personally had no intention on living in Virginia again. I just didn't. My plan was to find a building, reopen the ministry in Maryland. But that's not what God had planned for me. So I ended up being obedient to the Spirit of God, coming back to Virginia. And needless to say, I never got a chance to ride Flirt with my friends in Maryland because I've been down here in Virginia. But I'm planning on making that trip so that me and the guys can get back together again and get some wind therapy again. I miss those guys, man. We had some good rides. We had some real good rides. I plan on doing a video real soon once I get everything all nice and shiny and cleaned up. I plan on doing a video about how God has just blessed me and just let everybody take a look at what's in my stable. I believe that once I was obedient and did what he asked me to do, I know for a fact he truly began to bless me. So I'm planning on doing a video, just getting all the bikes lined up and taking my time and talking about each bike and what I've done to them and where I've been a little bit. Just a little something, you know, a little content, something I'm hoping that the viewers will find interesting. Anyway, I am about 40 minutes away from the job. I'm not going to bore y'all to death with my rambling and whatever. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this ride. Y'all come along and ride with me if you would. God bless you. Don't forget, if you would, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that when I post another video, you can be notified. I truly appreciate those who are following and have subscribed and I pray y'all are enjoying the content. Leave some comments in there. Let me know what you think. We'll try to get some videos out that the viewers would like to see. All right, y'all be blessed. Enjoy the ride. Well, we made it safely here to work. Me and old Flirt, my 2015 Voyager 1700. She running like a champ. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the ride. God bless you.